Howdy.
Well, we got Thunder, FBA, Sebastian, Liz, Amanda, JP, Ronald in the building, Carlos, Idaliz.
Some
Appreciate you
familiar
all.
names for you. Hey, is that your note taker?
That's not my note taker. I think it's Diana's note taker. So that one's not mine. But glad somebody's taking notes.
Hey, honey, can you open a water for me, please? Thank you.
We got Idaliz from Florida, OA, Adam, Amazon, California, Jeff, SoCal, OARA. Majority OA, the Tompsons, and we got Sebastian OA from Connecticut. There we go. Cool.
We're also Brian. We're also Brian's prep center.
Brian's prep center. Okay. So Brian's got his stuff at your prep center. We'd love to hear that. Yeah, how have the prep services been coming along? You guys just too busy to bring anybody else on?
Yeah, too busy right now. We got a full lineup, but the goal is to get Andrew out of his day job this year so we can start start getting more people on. I guess if we get enough people on, he could just leave, right?
That's the way I see it. Like
Maybe reduce hours,
definitely,
something.
definitely it'll be
This year.
eventually it'll be space and then help,
We're running out of space.
That's a good problem to have, I guess, as a prep center. You're growing.
Yeah, and Brian said that, but with using us this year, that he hit his biggest month ever.
Got to give her a little round of applause there.
I'm so
I'd love to hear
excited.
that.
Absolutely.
I go 100% to a prep center, especially because I live in Texas. It's a sales tax state, and then I would like to think I'm a somewhat busy individual. I imagine most of you on this call have activities outside of Amazon you would have liked to dedicate time to. So when I outsourced my prep, let's just say I didn't want to go back to doing prep myself. But both doing prep yourself or using a prep center, either way, you're getting it done. So keep at it.
All right, we've got like a minute or so to spare, but why don't we just get started? Introduce yourself to everybody, where you started, how you've grown, where you are now, and just get into your whole spiel.
Cool. I had a lot prepared because one, I love the Tompsons. They've been so helpful in my communities, helping share me on social media. And I think they're just very authentic and genuine people. Then also I've been able to learn a little bit more about Brian as well. Seems like very same as well. So I appreciate you all joining. I see a couple familiar faces in here. Got Danny Duck in the building. I love to see that. And the goal for this call is to just heavily focus on virtual assistant topic. I know it's a very niche topic. It doesn't really apply to every Amazon seller, but it's changed my life. It's brought extreme value to the Tompsons. Danny Duck is one of my clients. I'm sure she can speak for it as well. And, a virtual assistant can solve a lot of problems that a lot of Amazon sellers go into. So we're going to break this down into 3 topics today. First topic, I'm going to talk about the top 10 mistakes Amazon sellers make with their first virtual assistant. I'll provide you a PDF that you can print out, keep for yourself. Second thing is we're going to talk about how you can get a virtual assistant, whether you want to do that process yourself, whether you want to use a service like me, which also includes a discount that we'll get to, that Tompsons will provide. And then the final thing is we actually have a special guest on this call located in the Philippines. That's all I'm going to provide. And that's going to be the third part of this call. And that's probably what I'm the most excited for. So if you want to see that final special person, well, you've got to be here the entire call. And if you're watching this replay, watch this through, trust me, you're definitely going to appreciate it. So can I get a thumbs up if we're ready to dive into it? Okay, everybody, I appreciate y'all being interactive. Any questions y'all have, drop them in the Zoom chat. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time at the end of this call, but I'm going to go ahead and send the link to this Google document in the Zoom chat so all of you can follow along, print it out. I just dropped that in the Zoom chat. Let me share my screen and we can hop right into it. So I'm going to go through these pretty quickly just because there's a lot to talk about, and I've got them blurred out because I want you all to be super focused. But top 10 mistakes. Everyone type yes or no in the Zoom chat. If you have a virtual assistant or if you've worked with one in the past, type yes. If you have not been affiliated at all with a virtual assistant in your Amazon business, just put a no. Just kind of trying to get a feel for our audience here. I appreciate everyone being active. I see a good portion of yeses and a good portion of nos as well. So valuable, no matter how you answer that call. But mistake number one is not leaving in-depth client notes on the feedback your VA provides. So when you have a VA on your team, they're providing you leads, you want to do a couple things. You want to let the VA know yes or no if you purchased the item, and then how you came up with that decision. So if they provide you a great lead, you buy it, you make money, let them know what was good about the lead. Why did you decide to buy it? So they can go out and find more just like it. Vice versa. If they provide a lead that you decide not to purchase, you didn't like it, well, you better tell them exactly why you didn't want to purchase that lead so that they don't potentially make that same mistake or provide another lead like that going forward. Number two, and I'm sure the Tompsons and maybe Danny Duck can speak up for this as well, is I believe building a personal, strong relationship with your VA will make you more money, will allow you to work harder on the business, and they will provide better results for you. I'm sure all of you have had a job. If you've ever had a bad relationship with your boss, I'm sure you probably weren't pumped to come to work and do a great job. Now, I'm sure if you've ever had a great relationship with the boss or somebody in your business, you're wanting to do great work for them. So this could be learning a little bit about them personally, how many family members they have, hobbies. I like to start out the first 3 minutes of every meeting I do with my team. How was your weekend? What was one fun thing you did? And then we can hop into the business stuff. So definitely work on that. Number three is not teaching or training your VA. So if you are not a good sourcer, are there any resources, any training videos, any courses you've bought that you can share with them so your VA can watch those free of charge and improve their skills? And if you already have some strengths in your Amazon business or sourcing abilities, feel free to share your screen and teach that with them. It'll cost you nothing. And in return, they're going to take those skills, put them to work, and make you more money in the return as well. So we got like 10 here, so we'll fly through these. Number four, and I see this is very common. I don't think people do this on purpose, and I've done this before, which is just overloading and outsourcing too many tasks to your VA too quickly. Like your VA is not a robot, it's not AI, you can't do everything in the world. And a lot of you are hiring a VA for sourcing, which is great. Master the sourcing aspect with them. Give them 30, 60 days to really build a good relationship where you're very satisfied with their sourcing and abilities, you're comfortable, and then you can introduce one new task at a time. Not three, not four, one at a time, the most important one. Master that together with your VA, and then you can start adding more on there as well. And then obviously when you feel your VA is overloaded, and you can even ask them, that's when you might want to grab a second VA as well. We've got 20 people on the call. I appreciate you all being here. We're going over the top 10 mistakes if you have your first Amazon virtual. Number 5 is not addressing, I'll try to go through these quick, not addressing mistakes, bad habits your VA makes. Hey, you have an 8 p.m. meeting, your VA shows up at 8:05. Like that is something that you need to address if that is something you don't want going forward. I've done that before. Let's say your VA is, for whatever reason, not getting your messages quickly, or they don't have a set schedule. If you let those mistakes and bad habits go, you don't correct them, there's a chance they continue doing them. So always be upfront about it. It's just being a good boss. Not paying on time. I've seen people do this. Your VA works 2 weeks and you're late to those payments. It's just a form of disrespect. And of course, a day late or, maybe once every couple months, it happens. I've been late on payments before. I get busy. It falls on a Sunday. But if you're consistently paying late, it's just not good. I'm sure they don't appreciate that either. Next is, this is a good one. Setting impossible, extremely difficult criteria. So if you bring on a VA and I want $10 profit per unit, I want a 50% minimum ROI, I want 10 leads per day, like, let's be a little bit more realistic with it. Don't set any expectations that you couldn't do yourself. Like, if you can't find more than 5 leads a day, why are you expecting your VA to find 8, 9, 10 leads a day or some kind of impossible criteria? So what I say is, at the beginning, keep it very simple, very lenient. As time goes on, you can kind of get a little bit more strict with it, and kind of teach and coach them over time. Just a personal preference there. Number 8, we got 3 more here. This document is also in the Zoom chat. I'll drop it one more time if any of you want to keep a copy of this, print them out. I want to make sure this is shared with everyone. Number 8, not giving your team holidays off. Nobody wants to work on Christmas. Nobody wants to work on Thanksgiving Day. I would say a paid off holiday is a huge bonus. I personally give that to my team. Now, I've been in the game. I understand my numbers a little bit better, but if anything, try not to force them to work on a large Philippine holiday. I can tell you they're going to be with their friends, their family. They're probably not going to do the best work at all. It's just best to address those. I think there's like maybe 10 holidays throughout the entire calendar year. You can look them up on Google, a couple big ones, or just ask your VA what holidays that they might not want to work. Final 2 here is not structuring any kind of bonus, reward, or raises. And I'm sure for all of you that had a job, you're always wondering, hey, am I going to get a bonus? Am I potentially going to get a raise? When's that going to happen? There's nothing worse than when I'm talking to a seller and they've been working with their VA for a year. I'm like, hey, what was their starting salary? It was $450. I'm like, okay, what are you paying them now? I'm still paying them the same. After a year, that's when VAs, and people from the Philippines, if you've ever met them before, like, they're super nice. A VA is not just going to come out of the woodworks and request a raise. That's just not how their culture works. And so what I tell people is the better you pay your team, the better results they're going to get for you. So if you want an A player, and this is a term I use all the time in my community, an A player is like the LeBron James of the league. Like, it's the best of the best. They're giving you their all. They're going out of their way. They're giving, great details. They're learning how to source better on their own. You can't pay an A player D player money. Like, you've got to pay them top dollar. Now, what is top dollar salary in the Philippines? I would say anything from the $550 per month to $650 per month. I would consider that a very great salary in the Philippines. So if you've got your VA there, good for you. That's A player money to me. I pay some of my team members even more. Final one here before I move on, and this is, some people have to work on this, is poor communication, few updates, little management, little to no meetings. This is a recipe for disaster. This is a recipe for your VA to just be confused on what they should be doing. And you don't need a ton of meetings. I do a meeting with my team like maybe once every 2 weeks. I think most of my clients do one a week because they're still in the early stages. Make those meetings valuable. Come prepared to those meetings. Keep your VAs updated. Hey, here's how we've been doing. Here's how this product went. That communication and just leadership can go a long way as well. So once again, that'll wrap up this first part, this document. I knew I kind of flew through this. Do we have any questions on anything on this document before I move forward? I want to make sure if we do, I can get them answered at this time before I move over to our next section. So I know we've got, let's see, we got 22 people in the building. If anyone has any tips. Okay, Sebastian, yeah, feel free to ask away.
Okay, perfect. Is for a question forward more like overloading / outsourcing tasks for my VA, since I'm looking more for like admin VA. So, just putting cost of goods, seller board, like, those admin things. Like, if that's the case, since I don't really believe personally it's a really hard overtasking job or task, but like I see my VA struggling really hard, a little bit too hard, I suppose, on those really simple just inputting numbers. Is that, I guess, a disqualifier if I see it in the future? Like, hey, it's like, it's like you just got to put numbers and that's it. It's not that hard. So I'm just saying, what do you think about that?
Yeah, great question, Sebastian. So you mentioned your VA isn't doing any sourcing, correct? They're just doing admin work. Is that correct?
I don't have VA yet, but my future VA. I'm looking forward.
Okay. So what I would say is to have a full-time just admin VA, like, it's going to cost you $450 a month. So, at least be at a point where you can justify that expense. But I think the most important thing is just doing a good job of teaching them the admin task that wants to be done. Like, for example, like entering the cost of goods. So I'm sure you have to, go to the spreadsheet, grab the units, go to Inventory Lab, your accounting software. It's a very easy task. And for you, it might just take one quick 10-minute training video where you record your screen. And then maybe that first week, you just check in daily, see how they're doing it, and just make sure they have the grasp, and then assign them that next task. Because admin work it's just not taught much. Most VAs are sourcing VAs, and then if their client likes them or trusts them enough, then they'll advance them to that next level. So I would say as long as you do a good job just teaching and training them, they'll pick up on it quick.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Cool, man. Of course. Great question there. Did we have any others? Feel free if you want to drop them in the Zoom chat, or if you'd like to come on and speak like Sebastian as well, you can just raise your hand or just start talking. Happy to get those answered. There's a community member that is trying to join. She needs an access code. I'll hand that over to the Tompsons and Brian to get that. So that'll wrap up everything I had for that document. So we're going to get into the second part, which is, hey, I want a virtual assistant. Do I want to hire them? Do I want to, use a service that can do it for you? So let me go ahead and briefly share my screen.
Real quick before you go on, I had one question on the on structuring a bonus. How do you go about structuring bonuses for VAs?
Great question. So there's a couple ways to get it done. I think one of the easiest and most effective is a performance bonus. And so for a sourcing related VA, one that is continually passed around my community is, and I'll even get the numbers for context, like, hey, for every $1,000 that I purchase of your leads, you're going to get a $10 bonus. And so the VA's incentive is not only to provide you quality leads every single day, but leads that actually lead to purchasing. And so if your VA performs amazing and, you spend, let's say $15,000 on their leads, it's a great month. They just made $150. That is life-changing money in the Philippines. Now, let's say they don't perform well, you only spend, let's say $4,000, their bonus is much less, and there's room for growth and maybe some things that you'll need to focus on. So there's a performance bonus. And then I like to give sometimes end of month, like spend, but like we have a good spend total. Sometimes like if they give me like a super fire lead and I'm going to make like $400, hey, here's a $5 lead. Sometimes I like to give out free lunches, free dinners. Like for somebody in the Philippines, like, $10 goes a long way. It's us in the US, like Carter, that's barely going to cover, a couple of days of gas, but you've got to understand overseas, $20 can feed a family of 5 in the Philippines, like a nice meal, an entree, a side, a drink. And so any bonus is better than no bonus. And I believe the more you pay someone, the better work they're going to provide. And then a performance bonus, it's a win for both sides there, Brian.
It's a great explanation. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Great question there, man. Love that. Perfect. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm not seeing too many questions here. Looks like we got that user in here. Let me share my screen and we can hop into the next portion. Oh, let's see here. Just went full screen. Share one more time. Okay, cool. Can y'all see my screen here? Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Let me, I'm going to open this full screen. Are we still able to see it good, everybody?
Yep.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Sebastian, good? Okay, cool. So here we're just going to talk about how I've been able to grow my business with virtual assistants and the same way that I've been able to help the Tompsons with their VA. Danny Duck, who's on this call, I'm not sure, we got 20 other people on here. Basically, I've helped place virtual assistants for over 100 Amazon sellers in the last year and a half. So I would like to say I know it like the back of my hand. And my goal is that if you're watching this and you're an Amazon seller and you've got cash and credit, you understand the Amazon selling landscape, whether that's OA, RA, and you just simply need more products or just the ability to outsource your business, this presentation is definitely going to be for you. So like I said, I do anywhere from, 60 to, we had $100,000 a month in November. This is my virtual assistant that's on my team. I flew out to the Philippines, to meet him. So I would think that's cool. So what is a virtual assistant placement service? Same thing that I did for my Amazon business, I now run as a service. I've done it for the Tompsons, 100 other people. Basically, we provide you a skilled, experienced product research virtual assistant that we can plug into your Amazon business that you get leads from exclusively. Zach increased his sales 70%. We got him a second VA. We had Yeezy over here, went on holiday. So he wasn't sourcing, had leads coming in, was still able to source, purchase. Chris over here hit his monthly spend goal. And here's just me and a bunch of other people I've helped. You've got Darwin, who runs the calls. You've got the client and then the VA that they've hired. Tompsons aren't on this one, but you can see we've helped a lot there. And then, I don't want to talk too much about it, but what's the VA Fastlane? It's the name of my service. I know a lot of you have probably seen it on the Tompsons Instagram. You've seen me talk about it. The VA Fastlane is my VA placement service. And I don't want this call to seem like a pitch, but I just know there are going to be a few of you that are interested. So I might as well get that answered. We've got a ton of testimonials on Instagram. We've got 3 different sections. You can see I'm clicking through a ton of them. Amanda's on here. I wanted to play her video real quick. Let's see here.
The VA from Carter is giving me so many leads. I can't keep up. I've run out of capital buying all his leads, but I know I'll make it back in a week, not even. And then I'll be able to buy his leads. But goddamn.
So whenever I review my VA's leads from Carter, we always put a general status like approved, not approved, why it's not approved. I have plenty in stock now. I have so many. I haven't gone through this.
So this is what I'm talking about.
Yes, I won't play all of them, but you can see, obviously Amanda listened to the instructions. She was leaving feedback on the VA's leads. We got Emiliana here, she completed. Emiliana, you've interviewed a few virtual assistants now. What is your overall feedback so far?
I want all of them. It's very difficult to decide. I'm not gonna do it. I love all of them. They're amazing people. I want all of them.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that feedback. That was after we lined up 4 VAs for her to speak to and listen from. But I mean, you've heard enough. Okay, Tompsons are getting help. Other people are getting help. How can you help me? How can VAs help me, Carter? And so there's really 3 steps to it. The first is I have a team of 40 sourcing VAs all day, every day doing online arbitrage product research. When I take on a new client, I take my 4 best sourcers, those that found the most amount of leads, the most profitable leads. That's exactly who you get to interview and then select from. That brings us to step 2, which is building a solid foundation. So I want to learn more about your business, your goals, what you're struggling with. And then I basically force you to scale. I have access to your spreadsheet. I get to see if you're spending money, if you're buying leads, if you're not. We're getting on a one-on-one call to see what is going on. I know probably some of you have questions. I'm happy to answer those, but just to confirm, this is not a leads list or a leads group. Once you select your VA, they're working exclusively for you. This is also not some kind of Amazon automation offer. Your VA is not just going to magically run your business for you, source all your products. You're not going to make millions day one from your virtual assistant. Let's keep it very realistic. And then I typically don't work with beginners unless you've got cash or credit, just because my main goal when you hire a VA is, one, we've got to make your money back because you have $450 being paid to that VA. So we need capital to take place. Who's the VA Fastlane for? I'm sure it's probably a few of you on this call, but it's really breaking down to 3 things. If you're a seller that has maxed out all the time you have to work in the Amazon business, probably a good time to bring on some help. If you just have a lead flow issue, whether you're not good at sourcing yourself or you don't have enough time to source, or if you just don't like sitting down and sourcing in general, a VA can be a next great step. And then if you're someone, very similar like what Sebastian had mentioned, he has a great operation. He has some different tasks that he probably doesn't enjoy doing that probably aren't making him a lot of money. He's now looking to outsource. A VA can be a next great step for that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to drop a link for a free one-on-one call with me. So if you would like to speak with me one-on-one about me potentially helping you hire a virtual assistant, you can book a call with me. I'm going out of town this weekend to go skiing. So I've got some calls tomorrow and then Thursday open. Let me drop that in there. I also wanted to mention the Tompsons have a $500 discount on my service. So if you do end up booking a call with me, just put their name in there. Obviously, if you book in the next 2 days, I'll know you came from the Tompsons call. But just want to make sure that if you do want to take advantage of the $500 discount, make sure you mention the Tompsons. Let me reshare my screen one more time, and then we'll get into our fun little announcement here. But like I mentioned, there's 2 final things here. If you're stuck in your Amazon business doing, $5 to $30K a month, if you can afford a $400 to $500 per month virtual assistant, you have at least 7 to 10K in capital that you can deploy and spend on the leads your VA provides. If you're sick of being the only one sourcing, and if you don't source, nothing's found. And if you want to join a community, very similar to this, weekly group coaching calls. I just posted the link in the Zoom chat. Feel free to book a call with me. Happy to answer any questions you have, see what your goals are. And really, there's 2 paths to hiring a VA. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, join Carter Service, that's the only way you can get a VA. There's another option. It's to do it yourself. I would use onlinejobs.ph. Let me actually type this in the chat. This is a website where you can connect with other Philippine-based virtual workers, where you can essentially post a job post, a target salary. You'll have people reach out to you. I recommend having some kind of sample project, whether that's a couple questions, asking them the source, where you can kind of get a feel for their skill set, and then try to narrow it down to your top 6 to 8 prospects, where you'll then get on a one-on-one interview with the virtual assistant, to where you can then try to talk face-to-face and end up making that selection. Maybe you can have 1 or 2 VAs you try at the same time. I know a lot of people that do this. I started out doing this. It took me a long time. I also wasted a lot of money and a lot of time, and that's actually why my service existed or exists now, is because I can speed up that process for you. We can get you on a VA interviews with 4 skilled VAs in 48 to 72 hours. And after you make that selection, we have 1 final call 24 hours later, where you can then onboard and have that VA start. So like I said, results are my main thing. I guess the only reason I'm on this call is been able to bring some great results to the Tompsons. And I would love the opportunity to speak with anybody on this call that might feel stuck in their business. So I just sent that Calendly link in there. Feel free to find a time that works out for you. I look forward to speaking to you all. And maybe I can pass it on to the Tompsons real quick if they'd like to have anything final to say, and then we'll bring on that special guest for everybody.
So I really wanted to touch base on your community that you have, because it's not just you training them and then handing them off to us. You really check in with us, and you're like, hey, how's it going? You do monthly reviews. You'll send us in a private chat inside your Slack. It's just like Discord, but it's inside Slack, and you'll message us. And I thought, because I've hired elsewhere too for VAs, but it was like night and day going from that VA service to your VA service. And you're checking in with me like, hey, how'd you do this month? What worked? What didn't? It was really an accountability thing. And it's like, wow, I'm either doing really bad checking in with my team. Like, I'm not a good manager. Like, how can you hire somebody and you're not a good manager? And you coach us on how to be good managers. And I think that's something valuable in your service itself, is you're not just handing a trained VA to us. You're like, hey, this is how to keep them long term. And I like that you check in. And I really wish you would have said something about this. Your coaching community isn't just about VAs. You have calls, you have weekly calls, and you're like, hey, this is how to avoid all cancellations. I think that was the first call I ever went to of yours, and I learned so much from that call. And I was like, wow, I did not know that this was more than just, getting a virtual assistant and learning just about that. You, excuse me, you provided more than just the VA service. I really like that we have a really cool little community. Koda was supposed to be here tonight. I don't know if he is, but Koda was gonna hop in. He's already in the service. Danny's already in the service that Carter provides, and the community is so supportive. And I like your little wins channel where we're talking about what we were able to accomplish with our VA, and also sharing our VA reactions too. Like I like to post or text our VA Ronald like, hey, this ASIN did so good this week. I'm going deeper on it right now. And yeah, see, I love this. I love this so much. There's Coda, and we helped him with his Walmart shipment right there. I also wanted to ask you, Carter. So I know that you're into Walmart now. You're brand new into Walmart. Are you going to be training the VAs on how to source for Walmart?
That is the ultimate goal. I mean, that's definitely a topic I'd love to discuss, but I've been testing out with Walmart. I love what I see. I love the interface. I love the support that Walmart seller support. Yes, they actually care, unlike Amazon. And so the goal is for me I want to master Walmart before I come out and, offer some kind of service. So I will be posting just some free content on my Instagram. So I dropped my Instagram also in the Zoom chat. So like, if this is your first time ever seeing me coming on talking about VAs, I'm not a random guy. There's a couple other people that do know me. So free content on there. Definitely check that out. But definitely looking to put some more time into Walmart, and more than happy to share what I'm able to learn, what I'm able to figure out. And if I like how it goes for the OA model, we'll be hopefully implementing something very similar for Walmart. Yeah, same thing. And we've got our coaching calls here. We got Tompsons, there's Coda, a couple other amazing people. I've got all my different clients here. Like I said, this is not my first rodeo. And so if you're really looking to fast track that process, more than happy to help you all there. So I'll see. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had looked at Online Jobs PH and I'm like, oh, I got to spend all this time training them. But I like that you vetted them. Like you hire them first, you train them, and then we have the interview. And that interview, just like that video that you shared, it really was hard to choose. And I'm glad that Ronald was the last person we interviewed, because every time we interview someone, we were like, oh, I really like them. And then we went on to the next interview. Oh, I really like them. And then we went on to the next one, and Ronald like hit it out of the park for us. I also wanted to touch base, like you allow sharing, like if I purchased, this sounds bad, I purchased a VA. I purchased your service, and I can share that service with somebody like Brian. Second Brian with an I. We share Ronald's leads with Brian, and so we share the VA salary with Brian. Like people don't have to go into this alone. You can collaborate with another seller, so maybe the purchase burden isn't so hard on you. And I think that was super helpful, because Brian actually reviews leads. He will go in and review the leads a second time. So after my eyes have been on it, Brian will go in and be like, hey, this is a little off. Maybe it's a different variation, or just something was a little off that I missed. And hopefully I didn't purchase it before Brian actually looked at it, but it's a great way to get two eyes on the lead instead of just your eyes, because you'll miss stuff. You're not perfect. You're outsourcing the lead sourcing. So obviously you're already overworked. So you're gonna miss something. So I really liked partnering with Brian and sharing the salary and the leads, and we collaborated that way, and it's been super helpful.
Yeah, honestly, I like that strategy, and it's just getting creative. You just took that virtual assistant salary and you cut it in half. You now have somebody else on your listing that you like, know, and trust, not going to tank the price. And that's one way to keep expenses lean in an Amazon business, which I think a lot of people don't really think too much about, or they've just got too many expenses. They don't quite know what's going on there. So I think you're spot on there. But do we have any questions about virtual assistants? We have somebody here that we want to bring on, and we're going to obviously ask them some questions as well. But I know we've got 22 people in here. I think about half of you had a virtual assistant. I think half of you have never worked with the VA before. So I just wanted to see if we did have any questions. I had the chance to get those answered for you, or we can pass it over to the Tompsons and we can go into stage 3 of the call. Let's see here.
I do have a question. You talk about the VAs being good at, I'm terrible on OA. So how would I actually go about training an VA to do a better job at OA than I am, since I'm terrible at it?
Great question, JP. So I would say probably 60% of my clientele are in your same position. Like they're just not the best at sourcing. And that could be maybe they just don't have a lot of time to do it, or maybe they don't enjoy it. So the 3 keywords in my service are: we place a VA that is already experienced, trained, and skilled, so that you don't have to go out of your way to go ahead and improve their skills. And then we have a system in place where your VA gets access to basically very similar to this, a free weekly coaching call that my team and I run, where we're continually helping improve the overall skill set of that virtual assistant. So we try to take a lot of that burden off your back for you.
All right, thank you.
Of course, great question there. Let's see here. And then, of course, like I'm sure you've probably purchased maybe some kind of Amazon training sourcing before, or maybe a guide. You know, you've already spent the hard-earned money on it. You know, feel free to share that with your virtual assistant so that they too can watch it, learn from it, and use it in your business as well. Okay, cool. Yep, Thompson's got that answered for me. Yep, $450 per month. You know, is, you know, that salary for your virtual assistant. That is a great salary for somebody overseas. And then they're working for you full-time as well. Like I said, that $550 to $650 per range is like A+ player money. And so an extra, you know, $100, $50 a month can definitely go a long way.
I just wanted to also mention that Ronald, I think I mentioned this to you, Carter. Ronald has been doing so well that we actually want to promote him to be our buyer. Like we want him, the ultimate goal is to have him review our other VA's leads. We got our other VA through Fast Track FBA, and we're having him on a call later on, actually next month. And so you guys can learn about them too. But we love Ronald so much that we want him to get with Elle, our other VA, review her leads, trying to see, like, you know, is there any reason that there's any leads here that Amanda and Andrew shouldn't even take a look at. You know, it takes a little bit more burden off of us, and we're going to assign an X amount of money on an employee card and be like, this is your allowance for the day. Purchase what you think is best. And, you know, it does open the room, or open the door for errors, but that's okay. Errors can be made, errors can be fixed, and people don't learn unless they're trying. So we trust Ronald to make the best decision that he can do, and I'm really excited to take some of that off of me because, as you know, we're running a little prep center over here too. So wanted to mention that. I'm really excited.
That is fun. I'll give you my 3 pieces of advice if anyone else wants to potentially do the same thing. This is how I did it for myself. So when I say I'm doing these big revenue numbers, and I know there's people doing bigger numbers than me, but I work less than an hour a day on the Amazon business, sometimes less. How is that possible? My team does all the sourcing. They review the leads. They decide the quantities. They swipe my credit card, make the purchases. They add my stuff to the spreadsheet. They message my prep center with the details, info, quantity, buy cost, help me with everything is fully outsourced. I know for a lot of you, you're like, oh my gosh, that would be the dream. That was the dream for me. And it's not the dream for everybody. Some people like to have the control and do everything on their own, and that's totally cool. But my lifestyle didn't fit that. And so my tip for you, the Tompsons, is the first thing you want to do is you want to outsource the act of purchasing, especially with OA. You know, you want to order 50 units of this water bottle. You got to do 10 orders of quantity 5. That's a lot of time. And so what you can do is give your VA access to that website, have your credit card preloaded to the website so they don't know the details, and then just provide them the item they need to buy, the quantity, and then the amount of orders. And then go ahead and have them do it. Have them share their screen, check in with them at the end of the day. That's step number one. And then step number two is while they're doing that, start having them suggest how many units to buy and then why they selected that quantity. And so the VA is like, hey, I think we should buy 12 units. And then here's why I think we should buy 12 units. And then you two review his leads, and then you decide the final quantity. Actually, VA, I think you should order 25 units, and here's why. Or actually, I think we should only order 6. And so you're slowly going back and forth, sharing your mind to them. And then the third final stage is where they actually review the lead, they decide the quantity, and then they actually make the purchase. And then I just set some kind of threshold like, hey, anytime you're going to spend more than, let's say $500 on one lead, or maybe if you're just starting, anytime you're going to spend more than $300 on one ASIN, I would like you to just check with me. I would like you to spend the $300, check with me first, and let me know how much more you'd like to purchase. And then you can give them the confirmation to order the next 500,000, however much they're thinking they should purchase. So
That's great. And I saw that in our team channel inside Slack that you actually had a training for all the VAs on best practices on how to become a purchasing manager. And I saw that and I was like, how does he know that that's what I want next? I was like a breath of fresh air, and I'm really excited about that. And I love that you send us little screenshots of our VA actually participating in that training. So I can be like, I could always text Ronald and be like, hey, can you reference this training? I know you were there. Can you reference this training? I think that's really great that you provide the ongoing training for the VAs also, because Amazon rules are always changing. I like that you don't train them once and they're ours, and then we have to scramble and figure out how to pivot with the VA. Of course, there's things here and there that comes up, but you have the ongoing training with them, with your team lead, Darwin, and he's been super helpful. Something else that I did not know was provided that I really loved when I started with you was that purchase sheet. So you provide that purchase sheet and you can link it with all these other things. And you can link it to the VA's lead sheet. So then I can just copy that line and put it right on the purchase sheet. And honestly, that's come in handy running our prep center. We just copied it and we're like, oh, look, we can just help other people and like log what's coming into our prep center. So it's been super helpful in more ways than one. So thank you for actually providing so much more than just the VA.
awesome. I appreciate the kind words, and I love to help, and I've done it enough times where I kind of know it like the back of my hand. So always happy to help. And I'll drop the link again if I know it's kind of lost away at the top. So like I said, if you'd like to speak to me, learn more about the service, and tell me a little bit more about your Amazon operation, your goals, we'll love the opportunity to meet and speak with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Carter. And Ronald is our VA. He's going to come on here and just talk a little bit. We sent him some questions that I would love to ask him, or Carter, if you want to ask him, how would you like to do that?
I think we can do a combination of both, but Ronald, I want to say congratulations, man. This is one of the first times I've seen a virtual assistant from the Philippines enter a call with other sellers. So obviously you're crushing it, man. And I appreciate you because I know I had helped place you in the Tompsons business, and sounds like you're crushing it, man. So we have a bunch of other sellers here that either have worked with the VA in the past, or maybe they're thinking about working with their virtual assistant. And to be honest, a lot of us just have questions. So Tompsons, I'll pass it on over to you to start the questionnaire for Ronald.
Right. Ronald, thank you so much for coming tonight. I know it was super last minute, but you're always like ready to pivot and adapt. Like this was a last minute thing. I texted Carter like I don't know, 45 minutes before this call, and I was like, let's bring Ronald on. So Ronald, I know it's super early in the morning over there, but my first question for you was, what was your experience like when you first started working with Carter's VA training service? Like, did you have any experience before you started with him? What your experience was before you know, what your expertise is in, and then you know, just wing it from there. Ronald, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello. Good evening to everyone. I'm really happy to join this call. Thank you for everyone for this opportunity. In order for me to really, express the experience that I have in Carter's VA service, I just wanted to give a bit of introduction of myself. I am Ronald A. Henete, and previously I worked as a quality assurance supervisor in for Del Monte, Saudi Arabia. So really, this work is really new for me when I started joining uh, this online jobs. So I decided to dig in about product sourcing, Amazon product sourcing, because I found it like more convenient and more reliable other than other niche in this online service. So when I joined Carter's VA service, I learned a very little thing only about Amazon product sourcing, because um, although I studied and learned for myself, I learned how to do product sourcing, but you know I studied and taught myself basic to prepare the VA fast lane interview, because joining the V fast lane is not that simple, because they are always doing this interview. Uh um they will test you if you are capable and joining their service, because although even though I have a bit of idea about this job, I quickly realized when I learned um, on my own the different, when I joined Carter VA, it's really different from what I learned for myself only, because uh, the training was intensive and incredibly valuable for me, allowing me to enhance my skills significantly before being paired with my first client. I have to, really fully prove myself and prepare to meet the demands of the role. So this structure approach helped me build both competence and confidence in my abilities. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that. And then Carter, how about you?
Oh man, Ronald, I've got lots of questions, but I think one thing I want to touch on is, a lot of people, we think of like a virtual assistant, we never get to meet you in person, you're overseas in the Philippines. How do virtual assistants, how do, I think callers might have a silent, but how do, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. How do you want to be treated? Like, how should virtual assistants want a client to treat them? Like, do you want to have like consistent messaging? Do you want them to teach and train you? Obviously I know the Tompsons are doing a great job, but I have some clients that are probably not doing a very good job with their VA, don't have a very good relationship with them. So how would you recommend a client maintain a great relationship with a virtual assistant?
Yeah, it's a nice question, because we as a virtual assistant, I just wanted to, express what kind of client I am looking for when I wanted to work with a client. As a virtual assistant, forward for a I look for forward-driven client who has a clear vision on growing their business. Um, working with someone who is motivated and goal oriented inspires me to give my best and ensure that our collaboration is productive and mutually beneficial. A client with a strong leadership and direction makes the work more fulfilling. So, to answer your question, like, how I would like to be treated. First of all, I wanted, a constant communication with the client. This is to really fine tune my task or the output of my, sourcing if they would like this brand. So I'd like, this constant open communication, the same as what I have with the Thompson. They are really helpful to me. They really help me to grow not only as a product, sourcer, and they also approach me to be a product buyer, like in November. So, and also, um it really uh gives me confidence, like, when my client really trusts me on doing things, like, they are not always telling me like, um are you working right now, are you, doing this 8-hour job, like that. So I get this, leverage from Thompsons, like they give me ample time to, do my task, and to really find or look for good leads for them. Yeah.
That's
It's
something that
awesome. Thank you for answering
I
that.
wanted to mention to people. I do not require Ronald to work 9 to 5. I know he's a busy dad. He has a family. I want him to work what fits in his life and his schedule.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than texting your boss, being like, can I have this day off? Can I come in at 9? Can I come in at 10? Can I come in at 4? Things like that. I want Ronald to love his job. I want him to come to work when he can. Like, if you want to spend the morning with your children, getting them ready for school, like, you don't have to be at the desk until your kids are gone. You know what I mean? Nobody has to ask me to go to a doctor's appointment. Nobody has to ask me anything like that. I trust you to do your job, and that has gone a long way. That trust, in letting them make their own work hours has worked significantly. And I also wanted to mention that I had started implementing, I think after 30 days, you can have a paid day off. Like, I want them to be rested. I want them to enjoy life, and I don't want them to hate their job. So taking care of them and giving that feedback. So thank you so much, Ronald, for answering that question. I just had to chime in there with that. And I really wanted to know how we're doing, like, with the feedback, and how you would rate, honestly, put us on the spot in front of 21 other people. How you would honestly rate us as your boss.
Thumbs
Yeah.
down. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I can really, to be honest, this is my, as I have said earlier, like, you are my first client in this job. So, um, and, I was treated well, and, my opinions are, valuable, and you considered, leads that I have given to you. So, really, I can say like, um, 10 out of 10. Maybe you can, if that's not too much, because, really, I don't have other client to compare with yet, because I have said you are my first client. So, and I am feeling comfortable with this job that I have right now. So,
You're doing really,
yeah.
really great. Thank you so much. Carter,
thank you.
did you have any other questions for Ronald?
Man, I think I had one more. Let's see. Can you talk to us about what it's like to be a virtual assistant in the Philippines? Because I've had the opportunity to visit the Philippines, 3 different times. And I understand that, being a virtual assistant, working with, Amazon sellers in another country can kind of be, a dream job for many. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what it's like to be a virtual assistant, and then maybe what job that you had before you became a virtual assistant.
Yeah, it was a nice question. As I have said earlier, I was working as an OFW, or overseas Filipino worker. I worked previously in Saudi Arabia. It's way far from my family. So that's why I pivot this my career into virtual assistant, because I think I have worked enough already. Like, I have been there for nearly 10 years in Saudi Arabia. So it's a lot of time that was, supposed to be spent with family. So being virtual assistant really gives me ample time to really be with my family. I even have a chance to, it was previously just a dream, like, I will be able to send my kids to school every day, like, from morning, and take them back in the afternoon. It was really a dream before, which is being a virtual assistant. It it made that happen. Like, I'm always being with my family, so I can really watch them grow. Um, it's really a dream working as a virtual assistant. You are only working in the comfort of your house. And I always express this feeling that I had to the Thompsons. Like, I'm always thanking them out to be that they hire me as a virtual assistant, so I can enjoy my family more right now. So, and also really for the most of virtual assistant here in the Philippines, it is also a good job for them, because they don't need to commute daily, like going to the office or factory to work. So being virtual assistant, you're just working in the house in the comfort of your home. I think it's really nice job for us, and also the salary is not that. It's really good also compared to other jobs. Yeah.
Cool. Appreciate it, Ronald. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ronald. I know this was very impromptu, very spur of the moment, and I really appreciate you helping us out and coming and saying a few things. That's everything. If you want to get your day started, go right ahead. I don't know what you're doing today.
Does anyone else on the call have a question for Ronald? I'm not sure if anyone other than the Tompsons or I had a question. If you've ever wanted to speak with an Amazon virtual assist in the Philippines, this is your opportunity. Anybody, you can throw a thumbs up. You could send a message in the Zoom chat. If not, we'll let Ronald go, and he can get back to helping out the Tompsons, and sounds like Brian as well. No questions? Okay. Looks like we got most of them answered. Ronald, thanks for
Ronald.
coming on, man. Keep crushing it. You're making me look good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ronald.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good one. See ya. Cool. That was cool. He was able to come on. I'm sure he was
That was so cool.
nervous for sure.
Yeah, I got a text message. I am very nervous.
I think you did great. I have a couple of you just sent me your Instagram, so I would love to connect and follow with all of you. I always try to be involved in this space. So I think Adam, Jeff, I just followed you. I think Sebastian, Carlos. So if you haven't dropped your IG in the Zoom chat, definitely throw it in there. Definitely love to shoot a follow.
I also
I'll pass
wanted
it
to
on
just touch base about how we communicate. So we text with our VA on WhatsApp, and they're about 12 hours ahead of us. So when we're settling down, like right now it's 7:30 in the morning over there, sometimes he'll text me back. Obviously I have my notifications off if I'm sleeping, but sometimes I'll notice I'll get a text at 4 a.m. So when I get here in the morning, I can already start texting him. So that's nice. I really like that. It's the opposite shift I've noticed. If they get on a website at the beginning of a sale, it's already tomorrow over there. So they've got the lead first, and then I get that as soon as I get here. And it's like sometimes I get on the listing before anybody else, and I get the sales first, and that's been incredible. So that's a great way to communicate is WhatsApp. But I've also invited him to our Discord, and so he can kind of see, what other Amazon sellers are talking about, the struggles that they're dealing with. And maybe he could bring that to your community as well, so that you can teach. And it seems like you do get that flow of communication from some of the virtual assistants, because how did you know that I wanted a purchaser? And then you have created training for a purchaser. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool that the flow of communication it ends up with you anyway.
Yeah, I think that the time zone advantage with VAs, I don't think enough people talk about, because you go on a site, let's say Kohl's, they'll tell you when the sale is starting. And guess what? Everyone's going to be ready for that sale, but guess what? It starts at midnight US time. Most Amazon sellers are not waiting until midnight to source. If you are, you're an absolute dog. Keep it up. And so guess what? When it's midnight in Florida, it is 1 p.m. in the afternoon Philippines time. So your VA is now reviewing the most recent sale items. And so typically when they end their workday, 5, 6, 7 p.m., that is when a lot of us in the US are waking up. And so if first thing in the morning, you're hopping on your VA's deals, you have a chance to get access to the premium leads. Because if you wait an extra 5, 6, you wait until the evening to source, you've got a full day of everyone, their mom and the dog that potentially has a chance to find that same lead. And that's why you see a lot of those really great finds sold out, because other people found them before you. So always keep a head on the swivel on those.
Great. And I see that Adam has a question in the chat. He said his previous VA was using lead sheets, and then the offer counts would spike when he bought it. How do you avoid this problem?
Great question, Adam. So Adam, if you want me asking, where did you find that virtual assistant, or how did you hire them? That might be, I guess, my first question for you. So one way to do that, to deter that, is, where are you finding this VA? If you have a VA that reaches out to you on Instagram and says, hey, I can get you 5 to 7 leads a day, every day, and you only have to pay me $300 a month, it's probably too good to be true. You're probably not the only Amazon seller they're reaching out to on Instagram, and that's probably a method you want to avoid being a part of. Now, when you use a website like Online Jobs PH, this is for if anyone wants to go through finding a VA yourself. I'll drop that link. You can actually see their profile. So you can see where they went to school, their age, more details are provided. And so they have to have a little bit more honesty. But also what most people don't know is when you hire a VA on Online Jobs PH, and you have the opportunity where you can actually leave a public feedback on that virtual assistant. And so part of my service is we communicate to all 40 VAs on our team, hey, we're here to help you find a job, but if you try to abuse our system, work with multiple clients, and we catch you, you'll immediately be removed from your client's business. You'll be banned from my agency. So no, I'm not going to help you find a job in the future. And we will get in contact with the support at Online Jobs PH to either get you removed or leave a very nasty feedback on your profile, so that if anyone tries to hire you in the future, they're not going to want to after reading that. And so, you be very upfront with it, and you can never deter it 100%. Like, I'm not going to come up here lying and said it's never happened. But when you're very upfront with that, people tend to not take that risk because they know, oh, shoot, Carter's not going to help me find a job. No other service is going to help me do this. And then they have to go on Instagram and do what all the other VAs are doing. So, and then another thing is, if you is treat your VA well, pay them well. They shouldn't try to go behind your back. But if you ever see something suspicious where like every lead is increasing 30 sellers, just ask to implement some kind of screen tracking or time tracking software where it basically will screen share and take random screenshots throughout the day. If they're working for 2 or 3 clients. They're putting leads on 2 or 3 different spreadsheets. They're going to be very hesitant and very, hey, I don't want to do this. That's probably when it's time to break off and find somebody a little more reputable. So great question there, Adam. Let's see here. Tompsons, do you communicate with your VA daily while he's on the clock or weekly? I see you just answered that. You said weekly. I do not find needing to communicate daily at this point. In the beginning, sure, I leave feedback on their lead sheet as I review their leads. That's the extent of our daily communication. I think you're spot on. Like when you first bring on a VA, like the first few weeks are the most important. Like that's when you need to be over communicating, leaving super in-depth feedback. That's when you're really trying to build a strong relationship with the VA and see if this is somebody you want to work with long-term. And then, 6 to 8 months into the journey, that same kind of effort probably isn't needed because you've just done it the past 6 to 8 months, really making things strong and in place there. Adam said, I joined a shared VA group. I shared for 1 month and he was pumping out 4 to 6 leads a day. To me, they were bad, but others were good. Yeah, I mean, sharing with 4 to 6, I'm not sure how many were in that VA group, but like I said, if you can keep it small, the Tompsons, they're sharing their VAs with Brian. That's one person. I think someone said they're sharing with 2 or 3 sellers. Once you start getting to 4 or 5 and you don't really know all 4 of the 5 sellers, well, that's when things potentially kind of go south. I personally communicate daily with my VA when needed. Sometimes I go most a week between checking in. I do once a month cameras on call with the whole team. I love that, Brian. I like the in-person face-to-face calls is going to be the absolute best, strongest communication. Like, sure, a phone call is great. Sure, a text message is great, but getting on face-to-face, that's where the relationship is built. You get to see emotions, all that good stuff. Bradley said, Online Jobs PH also has a software called TimeProof that takes random screenshots while they work. So you can see what they're doing. Spot on, Bradley. Great app. I got to drop a fire emoji on that comment. Fire emoji there. Also, Team Logger. Yeah, I think there's a few of them out there. I have a Discord server for my VAs and all people sharing, and we all communicate everything there. Perfect. Nice way to keep that organized. Adam said, should you expose them to any online arbitrage, OA sourcing courses or videos? Wouldn't they want to start their own business if they wanted to? Great question, Adam. I think what you have to understand is that, one, they're located in the Philippines, and then, the average monthly salary in the Philippines is maybe $280 a month US. So it's, even if they wanted to start the business, I think they're overrun with expenses. And I've actually got that question before. Why doesn't the VA go and take it? Well, because they don't want to spend all of their salary, not have anything left over for rent. So actually, I've never met someone in the Philippines that had their own Amazon business. That would be cool. I haven't heard of that so far. But I do recommend, if you're an Amazon seller and you have a VA and you've bought any online arbitrage, teaching, coaching, trainings, man, share that with them and then just give them a little monetary bonus to actually go and watch the videos and then provide you with notes. That's the best thing. So like if you have a 3-hour course, don't just give them 3 more hours of work and then expect them to be thrilled and go and do it. Hey, here's a 3-hour course. I would like you to knock out 30 minutes each day for the next 6 work days. And I'm going to give you a $25 bonus to complete this. And I would like a summary of what you learned at the end of this course. Trust me, that extra little $25 is going to go a long way. They're going to actually really pay attention to those videos. And then, of course, in return, it's going to make you more money in that process. Thompson said, we have a VA mastermind that we share with our friend Brian, who was here in the beginning of the call. We invited our VAs to it. We post there, we see sales, what brands need to avoid, what we're looking across categories. Mastermind group. Yeah, I think people don't talk about networking enough. And there was a point in time, I'll tell a quick little story time here. And this will be really valuable for everybody. There was, social media. You get to see everyone having success. There were like 4 or 5 of these young kids that went from basically 0 to about 100K a month in about 4 months. And I was, at the start of it, I was really frustrated. I'm like, holy smokes. It took me like 7 years to even get close to that. How did these guys do it in 4 months? And it wasn't until I started asking around and I realized that these 4 or 5 young guys were each sourcing, but they were all sharing their leads together. So one guy would find, you know, $10,000 a month in spend. And then so would the other 4 people. And then they just combine their leads together. So now your output of 10K, you get to spend another 40,000 on the other leads, and you like, know, and trust everyone. That's how they were all spending 50K a month on inventory. That's how they were hitting 6-figure sales month in 4 months. And so if you don't think that networking can take you to the next level, that story should tell you otherwise. First couple months from Brian, I went over Lead Daily and explained what I liked and what I didn't like. Beautiful, Brian. Love to hear that. SaaS also has timestamps in the history. You can view the history to see if they were truly sourcing. That's another gem right there. That should answer whoever else had the question about tracking as well. Jose said, I started sharing OA leads with a friend I met doing RA, and now we are sending each other OA leads throughout the day. Teamwork is the dream work. At least that's what my mom said. Networking is crucial from the Toms. Wow, the comment section got popping there for a second. I love that. You guys have any more questions, drop them in there. I'll make sure I can get those answered. But yeah, networking is huge. The reason I got the opportunity to speak on this call is, you know, I got to learn the Tompsons. I now got to meet Brian. I'm now going to try to help Brian with his, you know, Amazon, you know, section 3 that he's working with. And, you know, I see a couple of faces on here that I followed on Instagram. Feel free to DM me. I mean, I'm happy to help. And the fact that, you know, I'm not sure how many people are in the Tompsons Discord. Okay, I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll get you next, Sebastian. How, like, in the total Discord? Like, I know everyone on this call is from the Discord, but like, how many people are in the Tompsons Discord? Like, what's the member count total?
Oh God, I don't even know, but we have some overlap with Brian. So there's some that's in Brian, some that's not in ours.
So maybe like maybe 300-ish or so.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
when I checked.
Minimum.
Okay. So minimum 300. How many people are on this call after an hour and 15? 20 people, including me. Now, the other 2 are the hosts. So what I tell people is, if you're looking for somebody to network with, somebody to connect with, somebody to grow with, a pretty good start is probably one of the 17 people on this call that took out an hour of their day on a random Tuesday evening to learn about virtual assistants. That would be my first start. So if you're watching this and you're going through the journey by yourself, reach out to a couple people on here, introduce yourself. It might lead to nothing, and that's totally okay. It's free to reach out to somebody, but it could turn into a life-changing opportunity that can make you more money in return as well. So, Sebastian, see you got your hand up.
Yes, perfect. First question is if you could resend your website or whatever you have for your services in the chat so I can open it again. And another thing too is, yeah, networking is awesome. It's really important. I think in Q4 alone, one of my buddies, just because I couldn't sell that ASIN, he could have. He made like 40K in sales alone that 1 month. But other than that, yeah,
Did he get you back with something?
Oh yeah, he got me back.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
the world comes around, you know, like, great example. You sent him a lead. He made 40K in sales. What do you think's going through his mind? Oh my goodness. Or what should be going through? How can I bring Sebastian more value so that when he comes across a great opportunity, he can pass it to me again? Because if it's all take, guess what? The money tree is eventually going to run out unless you can find a way to water it, get that money tree even stronger, and help him out. But yeah, back to you, Sebastian.
Yes. Because right now, currently where I am right now in my Amazon business, my goals for 2025 is a minimum to like 500K to 1 million sales. And for your services in general, is it more, are you finding brand new VAs to, you know, they're Philippines, and are you just networking them with us, or are you training them the steps of like Amazon in general? Since I would like basically a brand new VA, he doesn't know much about Amazon, so I can teach him how I want to teach him, not like, you know, experienced VA seller. So like, hey, you know, do this instead. It's like, no, I want to, you know, teach him how I like to teach him, you know, my type of things, my type of specific sourcing methods and all that.
Great question, Sebastian. So once again, I'll drop my Instagram there for you and everyone else as well. Like, I've got a lot of free content where I kind of talk about my service and just kind of my journey with VAs. I actually don't have like a website, probably something I should put together. Just know that when I do take people on, the value is brought. Also have a YouTube with more long form content like this, where I talk more about VAs. It's free. definitely check that out. But to answer your question, Sebastian, you know, the VA, I think you're asking about the quality. How do you make sure they're a good sourcer? So really, you don't know how good a VA is at sourcing until you give them access to your Keepa and Celeram, and you just let them go out and source for multiple days to a week to 2 weeks. And so that's why, you know, even if you talk face to face, you know, I can tell you I'm a great sourcer, or then I could be absolutely garbage at it and get the job, and you'll fire me 3 weeks later. And so what we've implemented, I'm not sure how any other services do it, but I just have a massive pool of VAs all day, every day that are sourcing. And my team and I, we get to review every lead that every VA provides, and we get a total count. And so I get to see who the 4 best performers are, and that's who I end up lining up for my clients to interview and select from. And so it's the 4 that found the most amount of leads, have the most experience, performed the best, because that's the most important thing. I've got some VAs that come on, they're 3 months into their sourcing journey, like they're just a boss. And then I've got, you know, somebody that's maybe 3 years into their journey, and for whatever reason, they're no longer working with their last client. They need a new job, a new opportunity. Now they're a top performer. So, and then of course they all source different categories. So, you know, I'm not necessarily only teaching them one strategy or one sourcing technique. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you access to the softwares. I'm going to pay for them. I'm going to pay you per lead. You just source how you like to source. And if you're a top performer, I'll give you the opportunity to potentially get selected by a US client.
Okay, perfect.
Cool, man. Solid question there. Hey, I know you can crush that goal, man. Just got to spend more money. Okay, perfect. Let's check the Zoom chat. I'm always free to go over my experience with VAs. Yeah, Brian, where are you on this call? Is he not? Oh, here you go. I was looking for you on my screen, man. Yeah. How about you talk, Brian, about your experience with VAs? I know we had the Tompsons, and what has your experience been working with oh, Jose, what's up, man? One of my clients. Love working with you. But yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts on working with VAs?
I can't really talk too much of like what the Tompsons are throwing out here, but I mean, I've had 2 VAs now for at least the last 6 months or so. I got one with my buddy Rich, which is here in the call. We got one VA, and then before you knew it, we were like, oh, let's get another one because this is working out, you know? And then it was kind of, you know, we're not even buying all the leads for one, because the amount of leads was more than what we could purchase. So then we brought more people in. And I mean, it's really worked out. I mean, unfortunately, I'm on Section 3 right now. So, you know, I had to go in different directions, pivot a little bit. But now we're teaching both VAs to do Walmart, and just recently even implemented eBay into things. So it's been working out.
There we go. Love to hear that.
I think
appreciate the honest feedback.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the time nor have the patience like me to sourcing is just not something that's desirable at all whatsoever for myself. So having a VA is critical in my business.
I can agree with that, Brian. And that's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
I've been in the game for 9 years. I've done enough treasure hunting myself. I now like to pay people to do it for me. The Thompson said Carlos is in everyone's calls. That man is a capitalized go-getter. You need to work with Carlos. I guess Carlos is everyone better be in your DMs or they're crazy, man. I love to hear that. We got Bradley said, always looking to network with others. That's the key to success for sure in this business. What I like to do on these calls is everybody, if you want to network, put your Instagram in the Zoom chat. That is your digital profile opening up other sellers to potentially reach out to you. So put it in the Zoom chat if you're wanting to network. And then if you're bold enough, DM every single Instagram account on here and just connect. Trust me, you'll find someone that you mesh well with. Adam, so what if you are not satisfied with your VA? Are we able to replace that person? If so, how many times? So yes, I do have a 90-day window where you get unlimited replacements. I understand that in a perfect world, your first VA is somebody like Ronald, but it doesn't always happen. And so I do have that replacement and policy in place. And so, hey, if you don't love your virtual assistant, I don't want you to keep them. You let me know, we'll remove them. We'll line up 4 more VAs for you to speak to, interview, and select from. So no worries there. If I want to share this with someone, we both split the initial cost. Can we both get access to your calls and community? The answer is yes. I have a lot of partnerships, duos in there. I'm more than happy to bring those on, especially I think it lowers the cost for everybody. It allows you to connect on the leads. I think we have 2 pairs of people in this group doing something very similar to that. So the answer is yes for initial costs in the VA pay as well. Yep, looks like Bradley just dropped his IG and his X profile. We got Marie, her Instagram. Actually, I want to make sure I can follow y'all as well. There we go. We got Jose. Jose is actually a client in the VA Fastlane. He's been crushing it. So if you have any VA questions, he's got one. I'm sure he's more than happy to get those answered. Let's see, Danny Duck, you sent me your Instagram. You gotta send it to everybody. Cool. But yeah, let me see if I missed any questions here. If not, I'm gonna add all of you on IG. I want to make sure I can follow along with your journey.
I threw out one
go ahead.
question on there. I mean, I kind of know, and not kind of, I do know the answer to it, but I think it's important for a lot of people to know what they're getting into sometimes with VAs. Can you explain the 13th month?
Oh, yes.
13-month pay. Okay, this is that's actually a great question. So hold up, I gotta make sure I get Jeff and Adam followed on Insta. But everyone type yes or no in the Zoom chat if you know what 13-month pay is, or if you've heard of it before. I'm kind of curious to see what percentage you have heard of it, which is why it actually might end up being a great question, Brian, which makes sense why you're one of the hosts of this call, man. That's what I'd love to hear. So 13-month pay. So in the Philippines, and this is just from my understanding, if it is any Philippine-based business, they're required to have a 13th month pay, where basically they take the monthly salary of that virtual assistant, and at the end of the year, they get it as a bonus. So if your VA, let's say they're making $500 a month, at the end of the year, that 13-month pay would be a $500 bonus to them. Now, there's some misconceptions here. So we are based in the US. So one, you're not required at all to make a 13-month pay. I do it with my team because I believe that brings a stronger connection. That money means a lot to them. And then I know they're working their butts off. However, Carter, what if my VA has only been working with me for 4 months? Do I really have to do a 13-month pay for $500? The answer is no. I recommend you prorate it. So let's say you're working with your VA for 6 months. End of the year comes up, 13-month pay is on the mind of your VA. Just prorate it. Your VA worked with you for 50% of the year. You're paying them $500 a month. You now send them a $250 bonus. Now, how many US sellers actually pay the 13-month bonus? 10%, 15%. So it's very low, which means it is greatly appreciated. And also, any money that they receive is appreciated. So even if you don't think you can afford a 13-month pay, what can you afford? Can you $100 end of the year bonus, $150, $50? I mean, that goes a long way. Something is better than nothing. And I definitely recommend having some kind of bonuses and pay. So always keeping your team on their toes and then just rewarding them if you absolutely crush it. The good thing is the end of the year falls right after December, which is right after Q4, which is the best time of the year. So if you crushed it, try to take care of your team. They'll stick with you. I'll give you an example. When I talk about A players, I've had businesses, and outside of Amazon, I have VAs helping me with video editing, running my VA Fastlane businesses, like support, like all kinds of stuff. And so when I have an A player, I'm like, hey, I'm going to pay you well if you're willing to do whatever it takes. And that might mean you have to learn a new task, a new business. Those are the kind of people you want to keep around. So a lot of the VAs I have now, they were doing totally different tasks before they even got into Amazon. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Liz, let me get you a follow there. And then I'll read what the Tompsons had as well. Let's see. They work for a U.S. company, but it's a PH law for PH business. However, we definitely provide that 13-month. That is what they're used to in their country, and they often count on it. Prorate it like Carter states. We did not prorate it. We gave them an entire month's salary. Want to take care of our people. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things I talk about, if you notice, is not Amazon related. Like, I did not come on this call and tell you, here's how to decide a quantity. Here's how to read a Keepa chart. A lot of what I talk about is just leadership. And that's what it takes to have a virtual assistant. You have to step up and be a leader. Now, for almost everyone on this call, I'm sure you've had a job, you've had a leader before, and I'm sure you've had some super crap leaders that just like sucked and you hate working for them. I'm sure you've had some that are great. You love working with them. You actually work a little bit harder so you can make them learn better. You are now the leader. And so when you look at your VA, you got to imagine, what does my VA think of me? Do they think I'm a hard worker? Does my VA think that I care for them? Have I ever asked my VA anything about their personal life? Have I ever assigned any bonuses? Have I ever sat down and trained them? You know, a lot of it is about leadership. And that's why you see the big people in the world, you know, the Amazon Lits, those guys are leaders. They're running conferences. They're getting people standing up and jumping up. If you can lead someone and teach someone to do something for you, that's how you build a super powerful business. That's just my mind as well. And leadership takes time. You know, I come up here and, oh, Carter's so smart. He's a great leader. Dude, I sucked probably worse than all of you, you know, but I got better. I learned, I connected, I came to these calls. So I'm not really worried about you 18 people on this call. I'm more worried about the people that are coming in the Tompsons Discord. They send one message and they disappear and, you know, go play video games all day. Like these are the people that I want to connect with. That's why I asked for all y'all's Instagrams. Your VA is yours. Let's see here. How do we pay the VAs? Yeah, I recommend using Wise. The VA is only going to be working for us or other sellers, yet exclusively for you and or your business partner. Danny Duck, my VA got the full 13-month salary because he did an amazing job. We killed it in Q4. I trickled down the money his way as well. Hey, round of applause for Danny Duck and also the Tompsons for the 13-month bonus. That's badass. Good for y'all. It's good practice to align things with what they are used to in the Philippines. Yeah, that's a great message, Brian. Like even stuff like the holidays. Like there's a lot of holidays in the US that overlap with the Philippines, like, you know, Christmas, New Year's. Then there's also some Philippine-based holidays that we don't celebrate in the US. And so if you're not paying attention to that, you've now got your VA expected to work on a holiday, which I'm sure they don't want to, and they've got family and friends coming over, and good to just give them the day off. Paid day off is even better. Let's see here. Danny Duck, we give a $10 bonus for, per $1,500 spent on leads. Beautiful. Guess what? How does that VA make more bonus money? They help Danny Duck spend more money on great profitable inventory. Win-win situation for everybody. I pay mine PayPal, but there are many other options. I think Wise has a little bit lower fees, but PayPal is also great as well. Sebastian said, yeah, 100%. There's a big difference between a boss and a leader. 100%. And especially for those that have had multiple jobs, guess what? You've had multiple bosses. So you've been able to see the good, maybe the bad, maybe they're all bad. I don't know. Now you know how to be a good leader, not a crappy one. No one wants to work for a crappy leader. Can someone give me a tip on being on top of social media? I can't keep up with it because I'm too busy and don't get a chance to look at it daily. That's why not active. I just don't find the time between sourcing, Walmart, Amazon, dealing with all the drama, email. Yeah, a VA might be able to help you with that. Seems like you're a little overwhelmed. But yeah, I mean, social media is, you know, it's a tool at the end of the day. It's free to use. And if you do a decent enough job, it can open you up to opportunities that people that don't have a following have. So for example, I've been posting for, I don't know, 6 years. I am going to get opportunities that someone with 20 Instagram followers isn't. But the person with 20 Instagram followers is going to get way more opportunities than the person who has no Instagram account. And so the best thing you can do is just start. And then for you, sounds like you got Walmart, you got Amazon sourcing, drama. We got to cut that out. I'm not sure where that drama is coming from. Email. Yeah, I feel you there. Yeah, maybe either find someone to help you out or try to find what's taking up your time, cut it out, minimize it. I know it's easier said than done, but I feel you there. Use it on the potty. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I definitely need an admin VA. I feel this. I use social media scheduler a lot. Yeah, the Tompsons have been posting. Like, I don't know how y'all post so much content. I mean, maybe that's why y'all barely sleep at all, but y'all are crushing it. And I mean, the Tompsons, because they started social media, they've now got a call where they've got 20 other Amazon sellers that they get to connect to, bounce ideas off. So the opportunities are there. I recommend everyone give it a shot. Bradley said, I have a benchmark for my VA producing 1,000 gross profit, everything. At anything over 1,000 gross profit, she gets a 4% bonus on. Basically, she has to produce 2.5 times what I pay her in order to be performing well, and anything over that, she gets a bonus on. And the bonus is unlimited, so if she kills it, then she makes a lot more money. Yeah, Bradley, that's honestly a great one. That's one I don't hear often because sometimes, well, I think most sellers don't do a good job knowing their numbers. They're just kind of running wild, thinking they're making good money when, you know, there's a, maybe it could be the case, but yeah, another incentive. Hey, $1,000, everything and above, you get a percentage. So if we make $1,000, well, you don't get much. Well, you make 2,000, you get a 4% bonus. I think that's like $40. If you have a great month, you make me $5,000 in the month of December, I'm super happy. Guess what? You're getting a $200 bonus, something like that. So I love that, Bradley. Great job, man. Way to take care of your team. Sebastian said, and that actually worked. That's a great structure. If you ever have a virtual assistant that is doing more than just sourcing, like maybe they're helping with your reprice or helping with restocks, like especially if you got someone managing all the parts of your business and they really need to be on top of the game. If they've got a percentage of the profits at the end of the day, that could be a nice low incentive right there. Sebastian said, just post anything Amazon related. When I first started, I did a time lapse of me doing prep. Yeah. And that picture of your sales, picture of a product you bought, picture of you talking about your Amazon. Like there's so many ways to get it done. I recommend getting 3 to 6 posts on your account at a minimum. You know, picture, have you be on one of them. I'm not a huge fan of like the faceless stuff. I like to see faces. I like to see who I'm talking to and people. And all of you have something to share. If you've sold an item on Amazon, you know a lot. That there's people coming that don't know how to sell on Amazon. Hey, here's how you create your first FBA shipment. Hey, here's how you find packaging supplies. Like all of you have something to teach, but you know, social media is a huge tool. Let's see. Like, I'll give an example. I have a community very similar to this with all my clients. I go lead for lead with probably 3 to 5 sellers in my community. And I only have so many leads a day, but, you know, it's a great opportunity that I otherwise wouldn't have because I have a community. People like, know, and trust me. And then I get them great leads and they give me a great lead in return. Should you hire multiple VAs for different business tasks or use the same one? Great question, Adam. I always recommend starting out with one VA to start, and it really depends on the tasks, but VAs, I mean, a human, us, we are capable of doing a lot, but it takes time. You know, like I said, like on that top 10 mistakes, you know, you don't want to overwhelm your virtual assistant on day one. You want to have one task. You want them to master it. And then that's when you can bring on a second task where y'all can work on it and master it together. Bradley said, yeah, my VA loves that bonus structure. She feels like she is more than just an employee in that structure, and it definitely motivates her to do well for sure. I love that. I might have to look into that one myself. Oh, lots of great questions here, everybody. Anything else we had on here? Tompsons. Let's see. I think I got everything in.
Sebastian, do you have a question?
Oh shoot, I'm Sebastian. Got the hand up, man. Feel free to ask away.
I'd rather just chat and type it away. It was with your first VA, I suppose. Was it more of a admin VA or a sourcing VA? And with that in mind, and like me personally, I'm at a point in my business where, I've done the grind. I understand what I need to do. I just need to literally just buy more or whatever I've been buying. And with that quality of life change, with having that VA, what was like the biggest thing that you noticed you just having that VA? Most likely just time back into like to yourself. Because like for me, I'd be up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning just doing admin stuff just because I have to. So
yeah, I think that's a perfect example. Like I like to get quality sleep. You know, I have, a girlfriend I like to spend time with. I like to exercise, play sports. It is okay to work the 10, 12-hour days in the business, especially when you're starting. But I did it long enough where it was like either I'm going to stop the business or have to find a way to work less hours. And I eventually got to that point. So I think to answer your question, Sebastian, and, you know, for all of you, those that have a VA, maybe you can drop your experiences low. I think it just brought a lot of stress off my plate, because when you're a one man or one woman show, when you don't source, the business doesn't move forward. That can be stressful, especially if you're doing this business full time, where you depend on the income, or maybe it's something you do part time and this is your play money, your fun money, your go out money. You know, when you don't work on the business, I personally would beat myself down. It would translate to other aspects. I wouldn't be super present. And so it took stress off my plate. And then I was able to start structuring a business that fit my lifestyle, to where, hey, tomorrow, this Wednesday, I actually don't want to work on the business, and actually didn't touch my business today. And my team spent over $1,500 on Amazon inventory, and we spent another $600 on inventory for Walmart. So combined $2,100 in spend. I didn't source. Now, it definitely didn't happen overnight, but that's a business I'm much more excited for. Then I get to spend my time on the aspects of the business that I do like. I like deciding quantities. I like talking to, you know, suppliers, this networking aspect. I don't like sitting down and going through the sales section of 400 products. It's a super tedious task. My team can do it for me, and I pay them well to do it for me. So hopefully that kind of answered that question, Sebastian.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, man. Yeah, love it. Great questions from you. Let's see. Bradley said, my VA allows me more time with my 1-year-old daughter and wife. Sourcing took a long time every day. I get more free time. Like, that is the case for a lot of people. A lot of you have families, a significant other. You don't want to work on the business all day. That was the case for me. Now, there are some people, there might be a 21-year-old Amazon seller, and guess what? They have all day, every day. They don't have any responsibilities. Maybe they're living in their parents' home, like, and they can work 12 hours a day. Now, some of you, you know, you just can't. And it doesn't mean you have to give up on the business. It just means you have to take the next step, and that next step can be scary. It is going to cost money. Hey, $450 a month for my VA salary is coming out of my pocket. But what we've got to understand is, you got to flip your mind. Hey, that $450 is an investment. You know, I think I can make 1,000, extra 15, an extra $2,000 a month from this team member. I'm going to be able to source 2 hours less a day. You know, that's kind of how I like to look at it. Let's see here. Bradley, anyone interested in picking my brain about VAs, feel free to reach out to, or if anyone wants to form a little group to share VA leads, I'm down for that too. Oh my goodness. If you're looking for an opportunity, I don't know what else to tell you. Reach out to Bradley Leitner, and don't just drop an emoji. Scroll up. Bradley, drop your Instagram. Oh, you dropped his Discord. There you go. I can't make it much simpler. There's somebody. And Bradley's made the first message. What you should do if you're listening in is you should put 2 or 3 solid leads in Bradley's inbox in the next 24 hours. Hey, Bradley, nice to meet you. Here's 2 or 3 leads that my team and I have found. I just wanted to share these with you. Nice to meet you. Guess what Bradley's going to do? He's going to buy those leads, and these leads were great. If I want more leads from this person, I need to bring some value back. Here's 2 or 3 more leads. Boom. But if you go up to Bradley, hey, Bradley, you know, I saw that you're interested in getting leads. Like, do you want to do this? Can you send me a lead? No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not going to work. Send him a lead. Let him know who he's working with. Now, if he wants to make more money, he can send you something back as well. So shout out to you, Bradley.
Thank you so much, Carter. I just wanted to see, I know Danny is getting over a sickness. I was deathly ill last week. Danny, if you're open to coming on and talking about your experience with your VA and with Carter's service and the community inside, I would love to hear from you. And Jose, if you're open to joining and talking about it as well, I'd love to hear about your experience too. We haven't spoken much inside the community. I've talked to Danny. Danny's actually on our list to become a Prep Center client of ours. But anyways, Danny, if you're free, I would love to hear from you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I found Carter from you guys just by following you guys online and the power of social media. I was using a leads list beforehand that got me so far, and then I had a need to kind of personalize those leads that were coming in. So I scheduled a call with Carter, and Carter's like, there's no better way than to run a comparison between the VA program and the leads list. So I was paying for my leads list quarterly, and in October for Q4, I ran a direct comparison, and my VA completely like outperformed my leads list, and it's just been great. My VA, his name is Jeffrey. He's also a father, takes care of his kids. Also doesn't work 9 to 5. As long as his numbers make sense and his work makes sense, he can do whatever he wants. We just ask that we get on a Zoom call once a week, review um, and stuff like that. He's also going to start taking over some of our buying soon once, that kind of flows in. So he's going to get like his own employee credit card. He'll have limits and we'll still review it together, but he's just doing so good. And all he wants to do is just make me happy. You know what I mean? And that's such a cool feeling. And I have taken trainings and stuff that I've used in other programs or whatever and shared it with him. And we're actively growing together. It's just a great journey. So I'm really excited for what's going to happen this year. It's just to the moon.
To the moon. And I see you working. You're like in your work van, like your day job, and you're like communicating with us. So she's at her day job and she's still posting on social media, still reaching out, still scheduling calls, like trying, like she's
Just trying to make it happen, man.
and you're making it happen. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad our paths crossed. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
That was fire. That got me hyped up.
Jose,
Jose, if you'd like to come on, put a thumbs up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got my VA in August of last year. Main reason was I'm pretty much, well, it used to be like 100% RA, and I was kind of getting drained going to the store every day. And I wasn't good at OA, so I got my VA also thanks to Amanda, because I saw her putting up some numbers of her VA, and I was like, man, this is really pretty interesting. I kind of want to get into this. So now with my VA, actually since November, I've been doing a lot of OA also, and giving him tips on like, hey, look, these are the leads that I found, and we created a spreadsheet also with our storefronts that we've been stocking together and bouncing leads out from them. But it's definitely has helped a lot. The spend tracker, before I didn't have a spend tracker. I've been selling for a year, but I never used it until of August, and that definitely helps a lot too. I've been meeting my goals every month so far.
I love that so much. Carter, do you have that handy? Can you show them a little sneak peek of the spend tracker? I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I've got someone that actually gave me permission. So give me 20 seconds. I'll get that pulled up for y'all.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
let me
Jose.
grab this. Let me share this.
I'm glad somebody else mentioned the spend tracker. Am I the
Yeah, so
only
basically,
nerding out
the
over
crazy
it?
thing is my VA built this. Like, I'm no genius by any mind. I will say I work my butt off, but spreadsheets, that's not my thing. So basically, every client we take on, what Jose was mentioning as well, is we've got this spend tracker. So you've got the deal sheet where your VA inputs the leads. These are from a year ago. So no, you didn't just get some freebies, but you've got the VA's name, and this is exactly what it looks like to work with us. Date, name of the product, ASIN, what you can buy it for, sell it for. If you've ever been on a leads list, very same concept, except these leads are only being shared with you. They'll give you the Amazon link where you can buy it, the source link where you can buy it to sell back on Amazon. Any notes, so the VA has a section, provide notes. Hey, Tompsons, hey, Danny Duck, use this coupon code to get 10% off, or hey, this sells 600 times a month. And then these are the two most important things. If you're a client of mine, I'm on everyone's butt about this. This is where you tell your VA, hey, did you buy the item? Why did you buy it? If you didn't buy it, why did you not buy it? And then I have this little general status tab where you can select, hey, I approved it. Actually, the lead, low profit. All right. We've got a bunch of different options here. And then the beautiful thing is if you like the lead and you buy it, we have a purchase tab where you can input, this one's not filled out, but you just copy this information. You would input number of units you bought, order number, amount spent, and then boom, it will populate in this pretty little dashboard we have here where you can see how much you've spent for the month. We have it broken down by week and then by the day. And it's automatically calculated as long as you put the date correctly on here. So when you see them on Instagram and I'm posting numbers of what I've spent or what my clients have spent, like it's real deal. They're using every resource. And then we've had people get section 3s. Oh, Carter, I'm not organized. You're screwed. Oh, wait, you have a purchase tab where you have the order number and all the information for everything you've ever spent in your entire career. Okay, it's gonna be much easier for you to track down that information as well. So yeah, that's that little spreadsheet there.
I love that thing.
I know y'all use it. A lot of people use it. When people don't use it, I usually shoot them a message. I'm like, do you not like it, or do you have your own? And you know, some people have their own, or some people are just lazy. It's all right.
So Bradley says the only thing missing is a place to attach the receipt or invoice on the purchase tab. So what I do is I create I click it. I click probably in the order notes tab. What I like to do is I will put the tracking link there and I'll say estimated arrival is 110. And then so I can see what's coming in because my doors are right here. And so I click that link and it brings me straight to tracking. So you can also do that by just creating a link to your Google Drive and be like, here's the receipt. Here, you can click it right there and there's the receipt. So it's very interactive and it's very, very organized. And I really love that. And the formulas, I like Excel and I can do like equal sum of this and that's it. So I have actually learned some things from it. And I've messed up the sheet twice. And your VA, Darwin, the lead VA who's in charge of all the other VAs, I just messaged him on Slack and I'm like, hey, I broke the sheet again. And he just fixes it for me.
Yeah, he's a G to help out.
He's so helpful. I think
Let's see here. Bradley said, yep, I agree there. Can this sheet connect me to SAS? So yeah, yep, SAS, where you'll go ahead and you'll hit the little button. It'll pre-populate it in there. So nice and easy there. I see Sebastian, we got a hand up.
You just answered my question about connecting those spreadsheets to SAS because it's very nice when you're doing large quantities, like very small orders, just orders in general. I think other than that, that was the main idea. With my current, if I do a lot of RA when I used to, I had to get a second phone just for that, taking photos of the receipt and all that. And I'll do my roommate, sorry. But I'll usually do like codes or like serial numbers, and I'll usually edit on my phone itself. So whenever I do get like an IP complaint or an authentic, I'll see, all right, cool, what's the ASIN? I'll scroll down to whatever it is linking to, code 123. I'll go to my phone, code 123. I'll have the picture of the receipt, the product itself, and all that, and everything's right.
That's next level. If you are doing already, like I feel like this day and age with Amazon, with the restrictions, the section 3s, like it is more important than ever to keep good documentation of your purchases. For OA sellers, it's a bit easier. You know, you log into the website's dashboard, it's there. With RA, you lose that receipt, like you run a very large risk as it is. So didn't listen to what Sebastian said, write that down and try to implement that in your business as well.
I know we're going on a 2-hour call here. This is one of our longest calls ever. Well, we had a 3-hour call last night with eBay, but they just kind of started at the end. But anyway, I know your time is valuable, Carter. So thank you so much for coming to this call. Unless anybody has any other questions, you're free to go. We're not holding you hostage.
Oh, no worries. I love this. Let's see here. Yeah, Brian said, be organized, all caps. Yeah, something I wasn't for a long time. So yeah, I'm looking excited for the Walmart calls in the future. I don't, as an Amazon seller of 9 years in 2024, I think it's more important than ever to have a backup or a second platform. So I'm not saying quit Amazon, go to Walmart full time. It's like, hey, be prepared that you might get gated in one of your favorite brands, and having another outlet to sell that inventory, recoup your costs, maybe even make a profit. That is most definitely something I'll be working on. And then also I'm looking to make money in the process. How do you do that? Little secret here. Everything you're selling on Amazon is listed on Walmart. Now, of course, the tools aren't up to date yet. There's not much sales data. It's very much a test type game. But what I wanted to say is I've spent close to like $3,700 on Walmart inventory the last 10 days. A lot of it was just products I'm already selling on Amazon. And guess what? There's a lot less risk. I don't know where that came from. I just heard a massive echo. I don't know if anyone else heard that.
No.
But yeah, the Tompsons said diversify. That's kind of the key right there.
And thank you. I see that you're coming to the Walmart calls, and I appreciate that. Still newbies in Walmart here. I joined
Trying to learn.
I joined Crazy Flippin' Moms community, loving it so far. What's today? Is today Tuesday? Okay. Her call tomorrow. I don't want to miss it. But join the communities. There's so many people on Walmart that you're gonna find somebody that you jive with, and just join. You're not gonna lose out on anything by just joining a community. And then you just, if you're in our Discord, we have little private Walmart sourcing calls sometimes. Actually, that's mostly in Brian's, but there's so many people out there, there's so many resources, and diversifying is so important because you could get shut down on Amazon, and then what? That's where, and you quit your job, and this is your only means of an income. So hopefully TikTok doesn't get shut down, because our one of our biggest clients here just released a PL that we're hoping does big things on TikTok. Hopefully Elon Musk buys that one too.
That's actually crazy if they shut down TikTok. Like,
I know. And
I don't know.
TikTok's collaboration with Amazon has definitely boosted Amazon sales because of all the influencers on TikTok. So TikTok plays a direct relationship to our sales on Amazon, especially if you're selling something that influencers are crazy over. There's that relationship is very much symbiotic, and we need TikTok to I'm not saying that TikTok is the only way we're succeeding, but it definitely boosts our sales.
Yeah. I'm curious of everyone's opinion. Type yes or no in the chat if you believe TikTok will be banned on the 19th. I'm honestly super curious to what everybody thinks. There's like this website where you can gamble on the outcomes of like random events, and it's at like 73% that yes, it is going to get banned. So and that's the people putting money in. No way. No. I bet Elon Musk buys it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of no's here. I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, to take out TikTok would be insanity. I don't know if I guess it's just for the US, like would still be worldwide for whoever owns. I don't know. I don't really watch the news too much. It doesn't put money in my pocket. But yeah, if they do ban it, it's going to be insanity, but there's going to be unique opportunities. Like there might be a new TikTok that pops up.
Actually, there is, and it's called Flip. And if you don't have it yet, you should definitely download it. So that, I don't know how soon it was released, but I joined, and everything that's on TikTok is now being moved over to Flip. So it's like the backup thing. So I don't think Flip's going to do very well if the ban doesn't go through with TikTok.
I got to look it up. Flip app, the shopping social network.
Yep. And live shopping is going to be taking off, or is already taking off. So live shopping, like Whatnot, like it's old school QVC for the old people, but now millennials are getting older, and now it's our turn for a QVC, which is Whatnot and Flip. So it's kind of fun.
Jeez. All right. Well,
big guys like talking.
Gotta be up to date with the trends.
Yeah.
I know some people crushing it with Whatnot. Like, I don't know what the heck's going on there, but I see some people printing. That's another reason that social media is cool, is you can get exposed to kind of some of these new opportunities. Oh, they also say users will still be able to use TikTok if already downloaded till an update is needed. Got it. Okay. Number 1 on the App Store right now. All right, Adam.
Flip is, or TikTok?
I think he's mentioning maybe Flip or Redno.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Looking it up as we speak.
Chinese TikTok. They'll ban that one next.
Cool. Awesome. Well, looks like we got most of our questions answered. I just want to say first off, Tompsons and also Brian as well, thanks for having me on. I love the community y'all have built. Keep it up. I love all the guests y'all have brought in. I'm glad I was able to be a guest. And I also want to shout out to the other 18 people on this call. I call out all of your names, but there's quite a few of you. You dedicated 2 hours every day to come up here and listen to me talk and a few other people as well. And that's going to translate to success. Like I said, if you're looking to network with anybody, start with the people on this call. My DMs are always open if you'll have any questions. And I'm excited to see all of you crush it. So if I ever do a call again, you know, Sebastian's hit 1 million in sales and all of you have crushed it. And so I'd love to see you. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, guys. Everybody have a great night.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.